European. They were in the desert. Now, I just want to add the biblical response. You heard what CP said. There were Arabs before Ishmael. Even in Islamic tradition, Ishmael married an Arabic woman from the tribe of Jurhum, actually two of them. But for those of you who want biblical refutation to this argument, what made Ishmael great? Not Islam. The prophecy was fulfilled in the lifetime of Ishmael. But I want to make this clear. Guys, for those of you taking notes, here's the biblical response to this distortion of this prophecy of the Bible. Genesis 21, verse 21 says that Ishmael's Egyptian mother, Hagar, she's Egyptian, went to Egypt and got him a wife from Egypt. So he didn't marry an Arabian woman from Mecca. Genesis 21, 21. That's the first refutation. The second refutation, because it's a biblical prophecy, it needs to be understood in the context of the Bible. You quoted Genesis. Let Genesis explain it. Here's the prophecy. Pay attention to what the Muslims don't tell you. This is the prophecy. Genesis 17, 19 to 21. Then God said, when Abraham said, oh, that Ishmael would live before your sight. God said, no, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son. Genesis 17, 19 to 21. And you will call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him, Isaac, as an everlasting covenant, and with his descendants after him. And now the promise for Ishmael. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and multiply him exceedingly. He'll be the father of 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. So right there it tells you the blessing for Ishmael did not include the covenant. It's right there. The covenant I make is with Isaac and his seed, not with Ishmael. I'll bless Ishmael to become a great nation in that he will have 12 sons who will be rulers, and so have numerous descendants. Now let me read 21. But I will establish my covenant with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you at this set time next year. So it's self-explanatory. He'll have numerous descendants, great in terms of numbers. Now, was that fulfilled in the time of Ishmael, or did we have to wait for Muhammad? What was the blessing? 12 rulers making a great nation. Notice 12. Genesis 25, 12 to 18. Here's the fulfillment. Genesis 25, 12 to 18. These are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, the Egyptian, see, it's even emphasizing he's Egyptian from his mother's side, Hebrew from his father's side. Sarah's maidservant, which even the hadith says she was the maidservant of Sarah, bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names. Count, folks, according to the generations. The firstborn, Ishmael, of Ishmael, Nebawith, then Kedar, right, that's 2, Adbil, Mipsam, Mishma, I got to get to the camera, Duma, hold on, the camera, Duma, Masa, Hadad, Tima, Jatur, 10, Nafish, and Kidama, 12 sons. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these were their names by their towns and their settlements, 12 princes, according to their peoples. These were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years old. He breathed his last and died, and he was gathered to his people. They lived from Havilah as far as Shur, which is east of Egypt, as you go toward Assyria. He died in presence of all his relatives. 12 rulers, 12 sons, great nation. But notice where they did not live. They didn't live in Mecca and Medina. It says they lived from Havilah as far as Shur, east of Egypt, toward Assyria, which would be in Iraq. He died in the presence of his relatives. Please stop distorting the Bible. It does not support Muhammad.
And notice we've been giving everyone we've been giving Muslims the opportunity to bring their best arguments, and look at what they've been bringing so far. And I'm having trouble finding many more arguments from the Muslims here. So notice, ladies and gentlemen, we said we're giving Muslims the opportunity to bring their best arguments. This is what they've been bringing so far. You've got Ishmael's going to be a great nation.
What about the Quran?
Go ahead.
Even why the Quran did not say, I will make prophets from Ishmael. Yeah. Look what the Quran says. If you go to chapter 29, verse 27, maybe Sam, he can read it. Chapter 29, verse 27, it says it clearly, that Allah gave Abraham 2 children, Isaac and Jacob. You find it, Sam?
Yep, here, let me get it for you. 29, 27, he said, right?
Yeah.
And we bestowed on him, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and we established the prophethood and the scripture among his seed, and we gave him his reward in the world, and lo, in the hereafter, he verily is among the righteous.
Which seed he mentioned?
Isaac and Jacob, not Ishmael.
So where is Ishmael, and why he did not? I mean, how you drop the elder in the family? You drop him down, you know. he should mention we gave him Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob, and then we gave from his seed the prophethood, if this is accurate.
And to confirm your point, 45:16 CP, that the prophet was established among Isaac and Jacob's seed Israel, 45:16, to confirm what you said, so they don't say you're twisting it. 45:16, and verily we gave the children of Israel the scripture, the command, and the prophethood, and provided them with good things and favored them above all people. So not only were they given the prophethood, they were favored above all people. Why not the Ishmaelites, CP?
Yeah, that's and at the same time, as I said, the Ishmael have nothing to do with Muhammad. But as always, Muhammad and the Muslims are looking for honor. When you have a bankruptcy, you try to attach yourself. How the Jews are evil, and then they say Muhammad like Moses. Like, was Moses bewitched?
No,
if I say to Muslim, you are following a bewitched prophet, they will feel offended, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but isn't it your book says that the prophet was bewitched? So was Moses bewitched? Was Jesus bewitched?
Never.
Was Abraham bewitched? Which prophet was bewitched? Why only those crazy stuff happened only to Muhammad?
Yeah.
To the point it says in the hadith, the prophet, imagine, this is a miracle, the prophet, he imagined himself that he'd done a thing, but in fact he did not, including sexual intercourse. So how we can trust a man? He imagined he'd done thing. What about he imagined that he saw an angel? What he imagined that the angel was squeezing him? And by the way, why the angel squeezed him? Have you ever heard of an activation of like, did God squeeze Moses 3 times? Did God send an angel to squeeze Moses or Isa or any prophet 3 times? And why 3 times? And what happened before the squeezing and after the squeezing? Muhammad before the squeezing was mayonnaise, after the squeezing became mustard. What the squeezing for?
Precisely. CP, I want to emphasize again, because people need to catch this. Notice what you said, and I want you to hammer it. Not only was Muhammad bewitched, he was bewitched to the extent he thought he was sleeping with his 11 wives. CP, what does that say about his mind that he thinks he's sleeping, having sex with women? That means something was happening to him where he's thinking he's engaged in intercourse. Now, how embarrassing is that his God would allow that to happen?
That's not only embarrassing. If you ask the Muslim, they say this is to you, this is black magic. Okay, black magic come from who? They say it's evil from shaitan.
Yep.
Okay, but isn't it the Quran says that Allah will never give authority to shaitan over anyone except those who follow thee? If you go to chapter 15, verse number 42, if you can read it for us, Sam.
15:42. I'm gonna get.
I will say it in Arabic and read it in English. Inna ibadi laysa laka alayhim sultan illa man ittaba'aka min al-ghawin.
Lo, as for my slaves, you have no power over any of them, save those who are wrong and follow you.
Okay, so in order for the shaitan to play black magic on Muhammad, he have to be following shaitan. That's what the verse saying. So this is a protection from Allah, a promise from Allah, that shaitan have no authority over any Muslim. What about Muhammad? So Muslims, they say that Muhammad is ma'soom, which means is protected. He don't do error. He don't do sin, but the Quran says he commits sin. So here you see the clear contradiction, how Muhammad get himself busted. But I will tell you what happened. Muhammad, because obviously he is a crazy mental man. The Arab at that time, as every time, when they cannot explain a medical condition, they say he was bewitched. So Muhammad obviously is suffering from a very harsh condition. He have a, what they call it, schizophrenia. I'm not sure from the English word. They can correct me. Epilepsy, right? So like not only that, like he have 2 personality or 3 personalities.
Schizophrenic. He's schizophrenic.
That would be multiple personality disorder.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah. So here you notice Muhammad. He speak about things he had done, and then the other person he don't remember what he had done because he's a different person. So he say I did that, but he in fact he did not. There's a movie. It's called The Perfect Host. If you watch, we'll see it's exactly about Muhammad. A guy, he sent letters to himself. He sent the postcard. He sent postcard from his girlfriend to himself. I don't know if you watch it. It's very.
I watched it because of you, CP. You mentioned it years ago, and I went and watched it.
Yeah, it's very funny because it's exactly Muhammad. This guy, he sent letters to himself, and then he believed that this letter is coming from his girlfriend. So Muhammad, he sent a letter to himself, and he believed it is Jibreel who gave it to him.
Oh man, okay. I'm not supposed to laugh, CP. You're making me laugh now. Any more questions for him, or I can ask him?
Yeah, this one's a little off topic, but I'd like to hear you guys respond to this. Here, our Muslim friend is going to educate you on jihad. So notice, guys, we're giving Muslims every opportunity in the universe to give their best arguments that Muhammad is a prophet. We have a mostly Christian audience, so what better opportunity can you have to reach people with the message of Islam than right now? And yet we've seen some very, very, very strange and weak arguments. Haven't seen anything that's within 1,000 miles of a good argument or even an average argument. In fact, I have to confess, most of what I'm seeing from the Muslims in the chat is trying to change the subject to something else, trying to attack Christianity or something else, even though we're giving you the opportunity to defend your prophet right now. But this is on a little bit different topic, but it is worthy of response. He says 2 elements of jihad are spreading the word of Allah and joining good while forbidding evil. First, meaning the upholding of Allah's word. Second, means to spread the good doings while preventing evil ones. So guys, Christian Prince and Sam Shamoun, jihad means 2 things. It means spreading the word of Allah or doing good things and forbidding evil. So why in the world would you oppose jihad or resist jihad when it's just spreading the word of God and doing good things? Come on, guys.
Come on, CP. You can't refute this. I challenge you.
Sure. In the hadith, Muhammad, he said in Sahih al-Bukhari that the best of mankind are the Muslims because Islam is a supremacist cult. Chapter 3, verse 110. Interpretation of the verse according to Muhammad, he says, the best for mankind are those who bring them with the chains around their necks till they embrace Islam. So this is the good deeds of Islam, is to slave people, put in chain around their neck, and then you force them into convert to Islam, and that will make Islam a perfect deed religion. You are the best of mankind. And I will send you the link, David, and Sam, maybe you can, I don't know if you can put it on the screen so people they can see. But this is what this is. Let me post it. Actually, I will post it in that chat. I don't know if it can go through. I'm not sure.
Let me see.
Let us see. It cannot go through. No, it cannot. I will send it to you. But you see here, when the Muslims, they speak about their own way of jihad, and then their prophet, he speak about totally different thing. That to bring people to Islam, a Muslim they are the best of mankind, and because they are the best of mankind, they have a duty to enslave everybody, to bring him like a dog, putting a chain around his neck, and the purpose is noble. What is the purpose? To embrace Islam. So this is how the noble Islam works. We enslave you, we humiliate you, we rape your wife, and we killed you, and we take your money, but our purpose is noble. It's like a thief who rape, and then he makes some donation to the mosque. You see the point?
Yeah. Now, I have a question from an ex-Muslim for him. Can I ask it for him? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the CP, this is an ex-Muslim. I'm not going to mention his name because seems like he still lives in a Muslim country, but he wanted me to ask you this. He goes, please ask CP on my behalf a question. As an ex-Muslim who lives in a Muslim locality, so that's why I don't want to mention his name, should one learn Arabic and Islamic alim course, take a course on Islam, to better confront my family? Last time, when I tried to speak of my faith, because he became a follower of Jesus, my family called Imam, and he just pushed me off, calling me psychologically ill. And he said the history was written by the Jews. And the book says Islam is true. So Islam is true, and Islam is true because the book says so. So circular reasoning. So he just wanted to know, do you advise him to study Arabic? And he said something about Islamic alim course, like learn from Muslim scholars, so that Muslims don't accuse him of being psychologically ill, but that he's educated, he knows the religion and why he rejected. What's your advice to this young brother who loves the sake of Jesus?
Thank you, my friend. I love him too. First of all, I have a degree in Islamic law. But in our school, they never taught us anything real about Islam. Nothing real. So all the study you do, you don't study from anyone. You study by your own. Islamic schools, they say nothing except Muhammad was perfect. The Quran is amazing. So all those stupid things, you have to dig for it by yourself. So if you think if you go to an Islamic school, you will learn about Islam, you are mistaken. And actually, 99% of things I say to Muslims, including those who have a beard, they say we never heard this before. So you will learn from who? The Quran says clearly that those who Quran call them scholars is the one who say we believe, not the one who knows. So how you want to learn from people who are considered to be scholar just because they say we believe? If we go in the Quran, and Sam, he can confirm in chapter 3 verse number 7, it says, and those who they have a deep knowledge, they say we believe. So what is the certificate for you to be considered a scholar? Say I believe. That's it.
So I hope he heard your question. He's been influenced by you. Glory to Jesus. May you influence more people. And I pray these young soldiers become warriors for Jesus Christ and are sealed by the Spirit. And I pray that for all of us. So I hope you got your advice, brother. I'm not going to mention your name for your safety. And the Lord loves you and watches over you. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I already put it up on the screen. This is similar to the last one. He says Muslims here. He says Muslims love Jews. I think he means, given the rest of what he said, that Muhammad loved Jews. He had a Christian wife, and he stood up out of respect at a Jewish funeral.
That's it, CP. You're busted.
So, come on. How much more tolerant and peaceful could Muhammad possibly be? He loved Jews. Never said anything critical of Jews. He had a Christian wife, and he stood up out of respect at a Jewish funeral. He's basically the most tolerant and respectful person in history.
Better go to the mosque and take shahada now, CP. Ya kafir.
Yeah, well, the Quran, all of it is about cursing the Christians and the Jews, and not only cursing, is about taking an action by violence. As an example, chapter 9 verse 29 specifically says kill them. But as long as he is saying that he married a Jew, can he tell us how he got the Jew wife? He raped her. He married her. How he married the Jew? I mean, he went to her family. He said, I want to marry you. Give me your daughter. No, he went, he killed her husband. He killed her father, he killed her brother, and he raped her. If this is what make you believe that this is love, well, I hope nobody will rape your wife and say I love you too, just to confirm love to you in the way you think. So this is stupid to say. Secondly, isn't it the Quran says that the most enemy to Allah is those who call themselves Jews in chapter 5 verse number 82? Isn't it the Quran says in chapter 5 verse number 28, that's 328, you have to lie to those who they are not Muslims, specifically the Jews? And what about chapter 5 verse 51? It says take not Christians and Jews as friends. So when you say that Muhammad, he liked the Jews, he loved the Jews, when he killed them, he raped them, and he taught nothing but ugly stuff against them. Actually, Muhammad is the only one who believe that lizards are Jews, rats are Jews, monkeys are Jews, and pigs are Jews. Look like this is a lot of love. And here you see, by the way, Muhammad, he have a phobia from the Jews. To the point, Muhammad, he said in the hadith that if not Eve, no woman betray her husband, and if not the Jews, no food will decay. Is that the love of the Jews, to blame the Jews for everything? And this is in Sahih al-Bukhari. You can read hadith 3399. This is too much love, my friend.
Where's the love, folks? Where is the love? You've been anyway. Any other questions? Come on, Muslims, we're waiting for your best, man. We got CP here. Come on.
It kind of turned away from actual arguments or evidence, and now it's people trying to show that Islam is good and it's positive and it's not as bad as everyone thinks. So here's another one. This comes from Support Good and Righteousness. He says, we love and respect all the messengers of Allah. Moses, David, Solomon, John, and Jesus. Or okay, he's given the Arabic and the English names. John and Jesus. Please do not listen blasphemy against the messengers of Allah. So Muslims respect all the messengers, but we don't respect Muhammad. So a couple of things there. Guys, do Muslims really respect all the messengers of God, or do they just respect what one person says about everyone else?
So what do you say, CP, about that? How do you respond to this man's accusations?
When Khadija was in the bed of death, he said to her, send my greeting to my wives in heaven. Khadija, she looked at him and she said, did you marry women before me? Muhammad, he said, I meant Maryam, the mother of Jesus, and Asiya. So if Muhammad respects Jesus, like now, let us say I respect you, but I want to sleep with your mother. I mean, do you see how much respect?
Yeah, that's blasphemous, dirty. I'm sorry. I'm going to offend Muslims. That's a dirty pig, swine, to say it about the mother of Christ. That's why burning in hell.
So when you say such a statement, this is a lie. Muhammad, obviously, he had a mental illness.
Yeah.
So how, and not only people who was even long before him, he don't tell me that this was a mistake. Allah, he promised him, he married him, Maryam. Ask yourself, what kind of a human being he will say such a statement that even Maryam, Allah will give her, as if Maryam, you know, forgive me God for saying this,
yes,
as if Maryam, she is a slave for Muhammad and she is no one, and Allah will throw her to Muhammad and say, hey Muhammad, take this, Maryam is yours. How disgusting. Yeah. So when you say to me we respect Jesus, shame on you to lie.
Exactly. In fact, Sipi, confirm it further. Besides the fact of this blasphemy, that's why Muhammad deserves hell, and he's under the feet of Jesus. And I rejoice at the fact he's burning in hell for such blasphemy. In Jesus' name, the Lord is victorious. But you can also confirm that according to Qurtubi, when Mary conceived Jesus, she was aroused, wasn't she? Right?
Yeah, actually, and if you read my book 6 on Allah,
yes,
you will see, according to the Muslims, not according to us,
yes,
that Allah, he made Mary horny, and according to them, God, he put a sperm inside her.
Wow.
So when Allah, he arose her, that sperm moved, wow, and that made Jesus. All right. So I mean, this is how much they respect. And by the way, imagine I respect Mary, and I respect, this is the mother of Jesus, and then I say in the Quran, Mary, the one who preserved her, excuse me, vagina.
Yep, 66:12.
Is that how you say respect? Imagine you call me, I speak to you, I ask you about your mother vagina. I respect you a lot according to you, right? So
yep,
don't tell me that,
yeah,
you know.
But CP, this Muslim just got you. He said the hadith where Muhammad says to Khadija, by the way, maybe you can mention where that hadith is. Give greetings to my wives. He says it's da'if. Da'if.
It doesn't matter where it is da'if. All Islam is da'if. And by the way, as long he said da'if, let us take it from the end. The second you say da'if, that means Islam cannot be trustworthy. Because when we say, what the purpose of saying this da'if is to say it's not valid. So now you are saying to us, and you are confirming that Islam is full of invalid stories. And who is the one who decides what is valid, what is invalid? Someone who came 1400 years after. Those stories was valid for centuries, but now they are not valid. However, as long as you agree that there's tons of stories in Islam, they are invalid. So how you say that Allah preserved his religion? How you say such a thing? If the Quran alone is not enough for Islam, we cannot find tons of laws in the Quran. All of them, they are in the Hadith. But you just confirm to us that there's a lot of things in the Hadith are invalid. So Islam is invalid too. Otherwise, Allah should not depend on the Hadith. And just to remind you, I will give you a Sahih Hadith to confirm what I said. Muhammad, he says, if any one of you write Hadith from me, which means my words, he should erase it. And this is Sahih Muslim Hadith number 3004. So as long Muhammad said, and I will give the link to David if you like to, I don't know if you can put it in the screen, I will put it in the chat. Here we go. Anyone who write a hadith said by me, erase it, efface it. Okay.
Thank you.
So now if we efface the hadith, all the hadith, and we keep only the Quran, how we can follow Islam? It's impossible. There's a video of Zakir Naik was saying to the fool who says we do not need hadith. He says, so how you do prayer? How much you pay zakat? How he's counting for them that Islam is invalid without the hadith. So Muhammad said you should not follow hadith, not me. And if you write it, erase it. And look how silly and stupid this cult is. He just said to you, don't write it down. You wrote down what he said.
I was going to ask you.
It's like, you know, the Prophet says, don't paint my wall, and I paint the wall and say the Prophet says, don't paint in the wall.
Beautiful religion. It's beautiful. Come on, CP. This is the beauty of Islam. It's so illogical that it starts making sense. What's wrong with you?
I did post the follow-up here, and we do not make any distinguish between them. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon respected all human being. He was sent as a mercy to all mankind.
La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. That's what he says.
So Muhammad was sent as a mercy to all mankind. He respected all human beings. Guys, is it true that Muhammad respected all human beings?
Come on, CP, you can't refute that. It's 21:107 the Quran. He's a mercy unto all mankind. Come on, refute it.
The mercy prophet in chapter 8, verse number 12. Can you show us, Sam, what it says, or David?
Verse 12, right? Yeah, let me get it for you right here. Chapter 8, verse 12. Come on, he's a mercy. What's wrong with you, CP? I don't know why you have this anger in your heart.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Okay, let me read it for you. I don't know, man. This guy used to be nice. What happened? When your Lord inspired the angels, saying, I am with you. So make those who believe stand firm. I will throw fear, terror into the hearts of those who disbelieve. Then strike the necks and strike their fingers, each of their fingers.
Okay, why Muhammad, after he captured his prisoners, he is cutting their fingertips? He is a mercy. If we go in the hadith, we will find, and this is in Sahih al-Bukhari or other hadith, we will find Muhammad, he captured a group of people who supposedly took some camels, and they killed, they said, it says in the hadith, they killed the shepherd. He brought them, he cut their feet, he cut their hands, and he gouged out their eyes. That is torture. That is not a punishment. Punishment is something, and torture is something else. Secondly, if I ask you, I don't know, David or Sam, is a crucifixion something from Allah or from the Roman? Is that torture or this is a penalty?
Friend, you're confusing me, CP. You're saying what Muhammad did was torture?
Well, isn't it obvious, putting nails in the eyes of somebody?
But merciful, CP. That's what the Quran says. That's got to be mercy. You just don't understand. That's merciful.
What about crucifying a person, put him in the cross, cutting his hands, cutting his feet, and putting nails, and let him die slowly? Is that a penalty or this is torture?
He doesn't understand. Anything he does, even if it's torture, it's merciful torture. Come on, CP. It's merciful.